Welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
What is up, everyone? And today we have a very special guest because Joe has been messing up so much with his fantasy draft that I need help insulting him. And I got the queen of insults, Pirate Sarah here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
First off, fuck you, Kevin. We have to get that right out of the way. Joe, I have heard that your draft picks have not done well, which is kind of your same record in org, so it makes sense.
Man, I was really, I wish that the season was doing better because I'm going to get roasted so hard right now. Like, this is just, I was hoping that we could be roasted Ryan, but now I just know it's going to be the other way around now. So,
No, I think I hope the streak keeps going, because I want you to have this, I want you to make our channel history, be the first one to lose everyone in a row.
In a
no,
row. That's the worst,
if
I
I just
think.
lose the first nine, I have the first nine boots.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up when Neo's doing better at something. That doesn't
Yeah.
seem right.
What's crazy is before the season, like I got a cameo from Rome roasting Ryan about how bad Ryan's draft picks are.
Oh
Before he
my
saw
God.
it,
Can you
before he
clip that
saw
in
it.
here? Because that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's in that was in our first episode. We have that in there and it's just it's gold.
So good. Oh, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to watch that.
Yeah.
Anytime Neo is this close to crying, I'm there.
You will see me cry
Uh,
on camera one day.
yeah. Uh,
All right. This episode was pretty good. There was a lot of comedic aspects. I feel like honestly, Solomon has been slowly becoming one of my favorite contestants, mostly
yeah.
because of like the kind of bullshit he has to go through, and you just see it on his face the entire time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You can definitely read he can definitely read the room. He is one person that I do agree. I really like how he just is able to adapt and he takes in the information and he's able to, essentially, I mean, we can get into it, but Teeny voted for him and he's able to do that emotional manipulation where you like flip it back and like people feel indebted to you for voting for you. It's
Mhm.
amazing. He's such a good player. I for sure see him going far, and I'm really pissed that Kevin got him before I did. So again, fuck you,
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah. And I mean, I gotta say real quick, Ryan, congratulations on your winner pick finally doing something. We've been making fun of that in the first three episodes. She's had three confessionals, and those three confessionals for whatever confessionals, and now suddenly, bam, she's the
Her time
star.
has come.
Yeah.
She made a boss ass bitch move. She was like, she could have done nothing, but she was like, you know what, Keyshawn, I don't appreciate the shit you're doing. You put my name out there, you're gone.
Yeah.
And then, she turned the vote around onto him, blindsided him completely,
Yeah.
and pretty much changed the course of this game because it did
Yeah.
flip, Teeny and Keyshawn being on top. So it's
Mhm.
like, all right, now Jen has a lot of power now. Rome
Yeah.
and Solomon, they're like this trio. So now Teeny is the one in danger, if they go again.
Mhm.
I agree. Yeah, those are those silent killers you got to watch out for. The ones that just kind of slip by the first couple rounds and then they come out like that. Like I could tell, like she's not someone to be messed with, which is why I
Yeah.
also picked her as my winner pick. So Joe,
Yeah,
watch what you
Yeah.
say.
My winner
yeah,
pick is Rome. So,
He's gonna have a tough go to get there. But
yeah.
I love his fun villain
Yeah.
energy,
He, he's
yeah,
obviously.
he's entertaining. Like I do not want
Yeah,
him going
very.
anytime soon because I just
exactly.
I want him on the TV screen.
Yeah, exactly. Then that's the thing you want as like players, as a player, you're like, he's chaotic. Like, we can keep him for now. He'll be easy to get out. He'll be easy to get out later. But then as a spectator, you're like, keep him. He's so good. I need the entertainment. I want
Mhm.
the funny. So like it's funny how this game can have two different perspectives from like a player standpoint and a watcher's standpoint because Rome is someone, and even like
Yeah.
Andy, not someone you would typically want to keep around, but
Yeah.
it all depends on the players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think part of it too is like, say what you want. Like, he is chaotic. However, he keeps finding these advantages. and then there's the whole thing of like using an incompetent shield, where it's like someone where it's like, hey, if we have to go and or if we have to sacrifice someone, and we've kind of seen that a lot in like the new era, where
Mhm.
when you get to the merge, and like it's usually at whoever wins the or earn the merge, where they're like, hey, who on your team are you willing to sacrifice? And we
Yeah.
did see last season how one team was not willing the Vibe Tribe was not willing to give up anyone, and then they just had the vote on them. So it's like good to have those like shields of like people who's like, we can lose them when we come to merge, offer them up as tribute.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
If you guys ever know playing orgs with me, that's one thing you have to have is like a clear pecking order of like expendable people. You always have to have like one or two people that are like, we'll be all right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I really could see Rome being almost like the Q of the season. Like even though he gets there, like he kind of becomes this like such an easy target at a certain point that it's like a lot of good players like they don't want to go for the easy target all the time. Sometimes they want to go for those, the bigger moves because that's the
Yeah.
flashier for your resume. So sometimes it's never as easy as just like it has to be this person.
Agreed. Also, it's just his dynamic with Solomon, I think, is
It's
so
so
great.
good. It's
Um,
so good.
it's
Yeah.
like in the beginning of the episode, it's like we can't make sure that we have to make sure that Soul doesn't have the idol or can't find the idol, and so he yeah, and Rome is like, I've never babysat it before, and it's almost like Soul cannot go anywhere, and Soul
Yeah.
is like explaining everything he's doing to be like, get off my back, I'm just getting water, I just want to sit on the beach,
Yeah. Yeah, I
and
mean, I watched this with my friends who are definitely more casual viewers, and they hated Rome this episode. They actually really disliked him because they were like, "Dude, just leave him alone." Like they were like, "That's too much." But I was like, "That's exactly what you got to do if you think someone's on the bottom. If someone's about to maybe go look for idols. You have to be there with them. You can't just let the person on the bottom find idols."
But I will say too, and Jeff brought this up in Final Tribal, or not Final Tribal, in Tribal Council this episode, where it's like, I get it, but also this is a human being too.
Yeah.
It was like Solomon was going through a lot in that
Yeah.
episode, and it was like, at what point does it like kind of like draws the line? Or also, y'all couldn't have taken shifts. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
only so much Rome that Solomon can take, and he was already
Yeah.
at his limit.
I, I
Um,
I mean, it seems like Rome wants to do everything. He probably said, "I got this, everyone. Like, let
Yeah.
me do it."
Yeah, he for sure seems like a go-getter. I mean, just even right there in this episode, he was just like, I'm gonna go interrogate them. Like, I
okay,
just don't
Yeah.
feel, I just feel like he's down for anything, and I'm here for it.
Mhm.
agreed, agreed. No. But yeah, it's kind of like since we were on the topic of idols, this was kind of like previewed in the from the last time where the Beware idol this time around, there was like a lot of red paint everywhere, and they were saying it was blood. This one was a little bit more evil than the last one, where it's like Sue goes flying around, and then boom, she has to like cut a thing, and then a gourd falls, and there's red paint everywhere. Uh,
Uh, this was my favorite part of the episode, but also like the most annoying because like I get it wanting to cover your tracks and stuff, but like girl, you made such a mess. She was like, I don't know what to do with all, and it's like running down
Yeah.
everywhere. And then like, yeah, she obviously didn't realize it's on her chin and in her hair, so she's got to be like, I bit my tongue, and it's just like,
Yeah.
girl, you could have just left the shit there and blamed it on somebody else, or like, there's just so many other ways. She was so close to getting caught, and like the way she was just like hovering over the water well, I was just like,
Yeah.
I would be able to read that as you're being weird. So like, I'm curious to
yeah,
see where this goes for her because I do like her.
Yeah.
One thing I'm not sure about her though is lying about her being 45, girl. I know us women like to lie about our age, but that is the if I wanted to say I was 20, I'd be the most cracked out looking 20-year-old you ever saw. So yeah, there's only so many years you can lie about, and 45 ain't the one.
Yeah.
yeah,
If you
I
were
saw that.
somewhere in
I'm
the
like,
50s, she
I
has
would
to be
say
somewhere in the
50.
50s. Yeah.
50 would be good. Yeah, because she said
Yeah.
she was 58. right? So I would totally go with 50. But yeah,
Yeah.
45 is a
Yeah.
little bit, because if anybody even has a sprinkle of doubt in that, they're going to question everything else from then on. So
Yeah.
you have to be
Yeah.
very careful with what you lie about for sure.
I think I saw in the comments on Facebook it was like she knew that, the younger generation can't tell 45-year-old. And also, you could blame it on the smoking. No offense, Sarah. You'd be like, yeah,
No, for
you'd be
sure.
like, yeah, I smoked a lot. That's why. Tanned a lot, which you won't have that problem. But like,
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Isn't she a pilot too? So she could just be like, oh, it's the sun exposure.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's more of a stretch. I mean, lying about your age on the show. I get it, but like you got to be more realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing is typically in Survivor, older people tend to like be one of the first people, or they're looked at as expendable and stuff. So I can see why she would want to do it, but I
Mhm.
don't think she's been like a detriment to her tribe. Like she seems to have like
No.
integrated herself okay, that she doesn't need to like push that like I'm hip, I'm young. You know what I mean? I think she's
Yeah.
done a good job to where it's like there's been other people like what was it like Joe DeCampo, where like you just come in, you're like, this guy's gotta go. Like he's cool, but he's gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah. And she is literally in the majority of that alliance. Like she's with Caroline, she's with Gabe, and like those three essentially can dictate what happens if they go to tribal again. So there's no need to
Exactly.
add that little extra things like keep
Mhm.
which is just going to be something that potentially could be your downfall. Like I feel like this was kind of the episode that almost set up that something big might be coming her way. Either she's going to have to play the idol of the next tribal council, or maybe she ends up getting blindsided. Who knows? I know that Kyle and her are also kind of beefing, so maybe
Yeah,
something
yeah.
kind of goes on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, sometimes when you have heavy pockets, you're like, should I make a move? Should I just
Yeah,
keep it? Like, do I want to do something? Yeah, it's all gonna depend on her 'cause she might be itching to do something at this point, you know?
yeah.
We'll find out.
So yeah. And this idol isn't one that expires until the very end, which I think is interesting.
Mhm.
Because of like how much of a big deal they made it, like how to activate everything, like from like 1 day to 3 days, or not one tribal council of three to like a full one.
Mhm.
But I think like this one, uh, also cleaning all that up. Like I understand leaving it there, but then again, people will get suspicious of like why is all their paint, and especially if they have seen 43, that's where their mind is going to go. Because also she didn't do a good job of cleaning herself up. So
Mhm.
like obviously she would be caught red-handed slash red-haired
Red
Yeah,
face,
red chin.
red.
Yeah,
She just, yeah,
yeah.
red.
yeah.
To be fair, it's pretty hard to figure out where the paint is on your face because you have no mirror out there. So it is
Yeah.
like you're definitely just having to kind of do it and then hope that it's good. So,
I would have gone to a cameraman. I was like, hey, turn the little view thing around. Let me just double check real quick.
yeah,
She should have just went and got like a starfish and started scrubbing or something. I don't know
Dived
I
into the
am curious to
ocean.
see how this pans out for her. Because
mhm,
I do like Sue. I like that she's
yeah,
still here. I think she's a fighter. I don't think she's someone like a floater. I like her personality. I like her story. I like that she likes that people underestimate her as the older woman, but she's really a badass. Like
yeah.
I'm excited to see where her
Agreed.
story leads for sure.
Yeah, I just love that we get like a older lady who is wanting to almost have the villain archetype. Like she went into the game wanting to be chaotic and play
Yeah,
hard, and it's like you rarely ever see that from that type. It's usually like all about loyalty and
yeah,
respect and all that kind of stuff. But she's
right.
kind of wanting to really make her own path out there.
Yeah. Well, you can see, and I mean, that's
Mhm.
so indicative of like previous Survivor seasons of there's always like one older lady that gets to the end or gets really close because she's there, because she's loyal, because she's nice, because she's a number. So, like, I
Mhm.
totally respect wanting to come into this game and just play hard, play it, because you never know if it's going to be your first and last time doing it. So, like, don't
Yeah.
be a
Yeah.
little bitch about it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I respect it.
Yeah, when you're that age, the odds of you coming back again are, become way less. They
Yeah.
rarely ever bring out people in their 50s because, there's been so many health concerns that happen. So
Right. I'm
the fact,
30
yeah,
and I would have health concerns now. So yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, but yeah, we didn't hear other than that, not much from the Blue Tribe this episode.
Yeah.
We did get a lot of content from the Gata tribe. One, the lovers quarrel, where things are starting to get a little hectic and like tense between the two. It's like, oh, we want to do this. What about the Breadwinner Alliance? And
Oh
all this stuff going on.
goodness, that's a tough one. I can see where Sierra's point of view is like, oh, like, I didn't name the fucking alliance, so like whatever.
Mhm.
Every alliance ends up getting a name, right? But like when somebody hears it that you're not with, they're gonna be like, so if you guys named it and you didn't tell me, are you
Right.
closer to them than you are to me? So I totally understand like the questioning in that moment, like,
Mhm.
but I don't know, man. She's playing a great game. You gotta be with everybody, and everybody not the wiser. So I think she's doing a good job.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I think the issue is just like she told Andy instead of Sam. Like that's really where Sam's like I think really
Mhm.
upset because he believes that he's
Yeah.
Sierra's number one. And
Yeah,
now he heard it from Andy, who we kind of know that Sarah's already Sarah's going kind of like I don't know if I want to work with Andy. And now she's telling Andy about this alliance that he has no idea about. Um,
yeah,
and
yeah.
uh
That probably wasn't a good idea.
yeah,
No,
so
I mean,
But
I
also,
think
it's a
it's
way
okay.
to see if information leaks, though. Are you going to
yeah,
go tell somebody? Because clearly you went back and
yeah,
told her, hey, I heard about this. So, like,
Yeah.
that is a big indicator of, like, okay, you can't keep your mouth shut. I'm not telling you anything anymore. And even if it was
Yeah.
about a fake alliance or a number two alliance, you still opened your mouth. That's not going to work for me. So, like, we'll see how
Yeah.
that storyline goes.
And it could be a thing, even if she is trying to cover her bases to hide the whole showmance thing. It's one of those things where it's like she is in the swing position, she is in that vote position. She could be like, I have a quote unquote alliance with them just so I can keep an eye in case they get any advantages if one of them
Exactly.
loses a vote. So that way it's like, you usually try and share that information with your main alliance. So in case it gets back to them, they're not like surprised.
Yeah, for sure. And as
So
we know,
yeah,
information in this game is always power. I mean, so even just a little thing of, him not knowing it was called the Breadwinners is like information that could or could not be enough to be a detriment to her game. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, that alliance too, by the way, sounds like a dangerous alliance. The breadwinners, like if
yeah,
you're not in the breadwinners alliance, I don't. It feels like then what are you? Like you're
Catchy
just
names are important. Catchy names are
yeah,
important.
yeah. You're just like the baggage, I guess. Like you're the dead weight. Like that's what it feels like.
right. Yeah, you're the fat on the bacon for sure.
Yeah,
The
That's, yeah.
stay-at-home dads. Those are the
yeah,
no. But yeah, I think I always think of like, all right, like when I'm looking at each tribe, how is it going to pan out if they go to tribal council? Well, Annika still, obviously hasn't been to tribal council because of her vote. She lost her vote. So like, it's kind of interesting to see how that dynamics might work moving forward with this tribe, especially because I know we're going a little ahead, but apparently next episode there's a twist that we've never seen on Survivor before,
yeah,
which
Really? I have not watched a trailer for next week.
it's at
Oh,
the bitter it's always like at the very, very end of the episode
okay.
where it's like next
yeah.
time
I
on
missed it.
Survivor.
Most
Okay.
of the
Yep.
time, it
No.
means like nothing or very like they try to
Yeah,
be
see, that's why I'm
misleading.
like, oh, I just
Yeah.
turn it off once I know who the vote is. Like, whatever, I'll catch it next week. But a new twist. Okay, tell me more, Ryan.
Well, I can't tell you more. I can't see into the future. If I did, they would
Well, they
solve
said
so
it.
many of
They,
my
they
problems.
just said it's never been done before. If it's like, if they pull us with some, it's not an hourglass, but it's like some other form of hourglass, I'm gonna be so pissed. Do not do that to us. I hate the
Yeah,
hourglass. It's so
Yeah.
dumb.
it was bullcrap.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone that got voted out during the Hourglass Challenge automatically deserves to come back for a second chance or something like that because they
Started.
won.
over. Like, oh, we were just kidding. The first 15 days, we're just kidding. Let's bring them all back. We're gonna just do it again. Like,
Yeah.
that's what they just should have done. It was so dumb.
Yeah, yeah. No, but it's tough to say because it's like especially like we only have like a couple more left before the earn the merge slash jury portion of the game. So, and we've done enough like orgs and stuff like that, or seen enough orgs to like have ideas of like different things that could happen. I was looking and seeing like, oh, are any of them wearing their buffs or different colored buffs, stuff like that.
Mhm.
I only watched it once and it was, in between breaks, at work. So it was like, I didn't get to like really like cross-examine and be like, oh, this.
Yeah, it's good
But,
that you're very
I think
observational like that. I do like that. But I guess if we're going to talk about jury and merge, you should probably just let the two people that have made it talk about it.
I have made it to merge and jury twice. I've played twice.
You.
Remember, I was the
Oh,
one,
that's right. You
I
voted
was
for
the
me.
swing vote,
Yeah.
Sarah.
That's right. You
So
did.
you're
You vote for
welcome
me.
for winning your first game. You're welcome. Thank
Yep,
you,
that was.
Neo.
Wait. Oh my God, I can't remember if I won Jake's game or Twisted Sister first. I think I won Jake's game first.
Jake's
Okay.
Yeah,
game.
yeah, it was Jake's
Yeah.
game.
Yes. I was not going to vote for you, but I've already covered it. I'm not
Oh,
going to,
no,
but
we can talk about it right now.
all right. I was not going to vote for you because, all right, for those who don't know, I tried to form an alliance with Sarah. I was completely devout giving her information, but the vibes weren't given from her. She would barely tell me anything. And then she included three other people in a final four and not me. Pretty much. So, like, obviously I went from like, okay, I really want to work with Pirate Sarah to screw that. Amy is promising more better stuff like Final Two, things like that, you know.
You
And
can't, I mean,
so,
the way I play is like you can't be offering final deals, like final twos, threes,
Yeah,
like in the beginning of the game, because so much shit can happen, so much shit can change. If somebody said that something that pissed me off and I offered you a final three deal and now I got to cut you, that just makes me look
yeah,
like an ass. So, like, I'll give like
yeah,
final four or five deals as like a general, like, let's just make it to merge type thing. But like, I try not to do final deals right away because
yeah.
it never works out. So,
Yeah, yeah. I never put any numbers. I just say I want to work with you deep
regardless,
into the game because that
same.
that
Yeah.
technically deep in the
Generalized.
game could mean anything. Like
It could be tomorrow. Yeah, it
Sarah,
could mean right now. Let's go to
yeah.
tribal early. Yeah.
Sarah, my love language is quality time and words of affirmation. You were not giving me that.
I was not. No, I was not. I'm sorry. I had my hand in everybody else's cookie jar, Neo, and yours was not the pot I needed at that point. So,
Yeah, I mean, it worked out for you. It worked out for you. So, but yeah. That aside, yes, I have made the merge twice. I have
just,
made the
just
merge
to
each game.
clarify, I've been there.
Yes, I may have not been there long, but I was there.
Hey, you could hold that plank
Yeah,
out for 9 minutes. That's pretty badass because that's more than I could do. The only thing I
yeah.
could do for 9 minutes is probably like eat an entire pizza in under 9 minutes, is probably all I got. So,
Hey, that's
That's
pretty
pretty
impressive.
impressive.
Like maybe that's a future org challenge.
all
Like
right.
tell
Yeah.
Eat an
everyone to
entire pizza.
go get an
Joe,
entire
write that
pizza.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No more
Season
sardines, Kristen. We're doing pizza and cheese curds.
season three. That'll be
yeah,
a challenge.
yeah. And if they got lactose intolerance, then screw it. I mean, do you want to
If
win?
you didn't
This
Like,
if
is
you didn't put that on your
2024.
limit, yeah, if you didn't
We
put that
need
on
to
your
be
limitations
tolerant
when you
of
apply,
lactose.
you're eating the cheese, dog.
Yeah, it's 2024. There's no room for intolerance.
Yeah,
Appreciate the
no,
yeah,
lactose for who it is, what they bring to the table.
yeah. If you're gonna shit your pants, do it like a man. Just
yeah, exactly. That.
Precisely. All right. So, to get to the challenge, because this challenge, like
Mhm.
the Lavo tribe went from like a huge dominating lead to just losing horrendously.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like not even getting one puzzle piece up there. And like
yeah,
he was moving it in ways where it's like clearly this is not going to fit. It's like
yeah. There's
it felt
definitely a
like a
lot.
I
Dora
swear to
Explorer
go.
moment where it's
Yeah,
like, does it go here?
yeah,
No. Does it go here? No.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Right. I am not the best at puzzles, but there were times I was just like, "Are you sure? You're sure
Yeah.
this
See,
is that's what you're
I'm
gonna do?"
I'm pretty positive that Rome and Genevieve are throwing that challenge.
All
And
right.
we just
you
didn't
have to
see
think.
a conversation about or a confessional about it. Because I mean, you want to go to tribal when you think you have control in the numbers.
Oh, for sure.
They know with Rome having that steal of votes that essentially they get to dictate who goes home next. And I know at least for Rome, I mean, I think it probably started as they wanted to get Soul. I think that was probably their original intention for why they
He's
threw it.
dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially like Rome and Soul weren't on the same page, so it would make sense to just get rid of him before the merge, before Soul maybe throws him under the bus, kind of like the earn the merge or after that. Um, but and then ends up switching over to Kishan. But and I feel like the editors just didn't want us to get that extra little detail
Yeah.
because it would have complicated like this whole thing. It would have been so convoluted, just
Yeah.
like an extra little step to what's already like a great episode of like
Oh, for sure. It's
television.
also
So
a very like touchy subject too, because like I mean, not to bring me up again, but like I've convinced two tribes separately to throw challenges just to get people out because
yeah,
exactly it's strategic. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah,
smart. If I clearly have a 5-2 advantage, why not? You know what I mean? If we know we're gonna merge or swap in 2 days, who cares? So
yeah,
I can see the how it'd be advantageous to throw a comp, but there's that part of me that's the competitor in me, that's the spectator that's like, don't
yeah,
do it. I can't do it. I want to play, I want to work. I'm not stopping until I'm crying, bleeding shit in my pants, whatever it might be. So like it's a very hard battle for me as to what is should be done, what and what shouldn't. So like I would be
yeah,
curious to know if they really did throw it.
yeah,
I think it's always a gamble. And because here's the deal, especially like this early on. Because usually merge doesn't happen until, or like earn the merge doesn't happen to like at the earliest 13, is
Hmm.
that if they have to go again and they've already gotten rid of, they
Yeah.
already got rid of Saul, it's like,
mhm,
well, what do we do now? And like they may have a plan, but as we saw this episode, Keyshawn thought he was on top of the world. No one was saying his name, gloating about it with Teeny, and then he ended up being the vote because that's what
You
they
can't
landed on.
you can't
mhm,
get complacent in this game. Whenever you feel like
yeah,
you're doing good, that's when your
Yeah.
name's going to get called. You can
yeah,
never
So
stop working in this game.
yeah,
yeah, and so that's why it's always dangerous. It's a move to like throw a challenge to go to tribal council, but especially doing it too early
Dangerous. It's
could mean that
dangerous.
you travel a few more times because like it may not be at 13 where they go to earn the merge. It could be at 12. And if your team composition isn't good enough, or like, you don't have your Flint, you don't want to be that team that's on the losing streak, you could potentially going to tribal council two more times if that's where, production decided to have earn the merge.
mhm,
Hmm.
So
And
it
if it were to
I always
ever like
think,
get around, if there was like another swap or anything where they like where you vote someone out and they like go to the other team or whatever, like if people find out that you've thrown a challenge, that's gonna put a target on you too, because no one's gonna work with someone like on their team that's like, oh, you threw that, so but yeah, it's this
yeah,
early. I don't think it's like gonna be as big of a deal as like we're talking about it, but it is very interesting if they did. Because it would be
yeah,
smart, but it also, like you said, if they have to
yeah,
go back too many times, then you have to cut into your own people. And then that's where the fractures are going to start going long term. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because it really looked like Romeo, he was just squatting. He was just kind of like doing whatever with it. And then Genevieve also, I think, was just like handing him pieces that just was like did not
Yeah.
really care about what she was handing.
I
It
feel like
felt
she's smarter than yeah,
yeah,
the
Yeah.
performance she gave. So now that going back over it, I'm like, this bitch might be fucking with us. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and Saul is just here because he knows he's in danger. He's just like, it's
He's
Like,
not
yeah,
come
fitting,
on,
Rome.
he has no choice.
That's not it, Rome.
you want to switch, and then just no response.
Yeah,
That was the best. You want to switch out?
Yeah.
yeah,
So good. Oh gosh, it is. It's like watching someone else play Tetris and they just keep turning the piece and you're like, no, no, no,
No.
stop, no. And it gets closer to the bottom. You're like, no. It's the
like
worst.
you done messed up. No, no, I think it's And then this tribe goes to and then when they lose, they also lose Teeny and the it was the Gada tribe, right? That sent
Mhm.
one person from each tribe to Journey, where it's Teeny, it is Caroline and Andy, which I was surprised that they chose Andy to do it. I think maybe that was
Mhm.
something to kind of like calm his nerves, be like, hey, yeah, we'll have it. Because like at the very least, if he is on the bottom, or like for some people perceive him to be on the bottom of that tribe, the best thing that could happen is he loses his vote.
Yeah.
And we've seen in the new era, it's very easy to lose your vote at Journey,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know why, but this season, like, if you're on the bottom, they let you go on these journeys. They let you go. Like, there's no like.
I don't know if it's like, yeah, to me, so it looks like when you let Andy go, everyone was talking about Andy night one, right? He's got to
Mhm.
go, this motherfucker. We can't, I don't want to do this. And he's still here, though, right? So by
Yeah.
letting him go on that journey, it kind of solidifies everybody else together that Andy is kind of the outcast. Because typically, when you go on the journey, you go on the quest, it puts a target on your back of, oh, did they get something? Did they? So I feel like they sent him, sure, maybe to calm his nerves, let him go, let him go. But I feel like it was also a strategic move that everybody's still going to feel like he's on the outs. He might have got something. He still needs to go. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think,
Uh, and even when he got there, he was like, "Yeah, if you guys are looking for fractions or fractures and stuff like that, I'm your guy. If we all make it."
Mhm.
And I think that's also one of the dangerous parts of like letting someone who's on the bottom go as well. It's because like long term wise, if they're desperate, they're going to be trying to make deals or seeing if like, hey, can
yeah,
we
any
possibly work?
information that they could get, or him just
Yeah.
telling them, "Hey, it's me. I'm kind of on the bottom fraction. Do you guys, if you guys need someone at merge, it's me. Like, pick me up." Like, they're gonna take notice of that and know, okay, he's on the bottom. The other ones are tight. So like, it's 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 such a fun game. It's such a fun social experiment to see how people react to all sorts of situations. Like, I love
Mhm.
this game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what did you both think about the decision that they ended up having to make? The three of them get there, and basically they have to all come to an agreement that one person has to lose their vote, otherwise all three of them lose their votes.
That's what I
Yeah. What do you think about Teeny volunteering, even though she is about to go to tribal?
I think
I think she feels I think she feels comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a bit of that. Obviously, you never want to lose your vote, especially if you're going to go. I feel like she made a lot of good arguments, but I think like the two people, like Caroline and Andy was like, no, 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 we're like our tribe is like, you know,
Yeah.
they express more like, oh, danger in their voices and stuff. And
Yeah.
Teeny was like, yeah, like I might be good, but like you never want to. And I think she made a good point. It's like if I'm gonna lose the vote anyway. I'd rather get something out of it than nothing at all.
Yeah, no, that is very smart. Yeah, to long term because they're not going to forget that. And everyone seems to very
Mhm.
much like Teeny. So like even though like she seems to us to be on the bottom right now, she might be the next vote. Will she though? Will
Yeah.
she? You never know with this
Yeah,
edit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I feel.
yeah,
I personally think the red tribe's not going to tribal in the next episode. I feel like we're getting maybe yellow tribe, the Gada tribe. Like I don't know. I just feel like they're setting up maybe something going on over there. With Andy and Annika and Sam and Sierra. Like I just feel like there's so much going on that we gotta see them before. We gotta see them.
yeah. I don't know. I think because whatever this twist is that's coming up, it could completely flip the game on its head.
Yeah.
So we don't know. It could be a thing where it's like, someone votes the one tribe, whoever wins votes someone from like the last place tribe. It could be anything like that.
Oh,
Oh
that
boy.
would be fun though. Don't put fun things out there like that if it's not going to be true. That would be interesting. How dynamic,
I'm
like,
giving
because then
ideas.
it's just strictly off like perception, right? And that's like the
Mhm.
one thing in this game that I always talk about is perception is reality. So like anybody could go at that point, right? It all depends on how you're perceived. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I could also see what if every tribe does go almost in a Earn the Merge style, but not quite in
That would
that.
be messy.
Yeah,
Yeah. That would be
Yeah,
messy. But for 90 minutes, they could make it work. They
Yeah,
really could.
yeah.
it could. Um, but yeah, but once Teeny sacrificed her vote, each of them got one of those little medallions. Which the way they're doing it, it's like,
Mhm.
it's just an idol straight up. It's just more so like you have less people you need to worry about when they get voted out instead of like, it's
Yeah.
like if there's three people in the game, you all have to agree on one and then two and then all the way until, obviously there's one person left. They were like, they were saying, I think it was Andy was like, oh, so it's not like last time where we gain more benefit by eliminating the others.
Mhm.
It's like, no.
Yeah,
If you really do feel a genuine connection with these two other people, then yeah. But the likeliness of that happening is like maybe you get it to like where there's two of you, but like realistically, you want to be the one to have that idol so you have the say and it's best for your game.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's nice
Also,
to know where
everyone
they are, but
knows.
it's better if they're in your pocket. Yeah, it does nothing. Like it helps very minutely if everybody knows. But yeah, if you can
Yeah,
find one person in this game that you truly trust, that's a godsend. But most of the time you can't trust anyone, right? Because
yeah,
Yeah.
they're all looking out for themselves. So
And they're all on different
yeah.
tribes right now. So like when it goes to that merge, especially like even though uh even though Caroline says she's like, a little iffy on her tribe, that was a lie. Like she is in a very good spot.
Yeah.
Andy, I can see how he can perceive himself as like still on the bottom, stuff like that. Teeny was the only one that thought she was, or Teeny thought she was good, and now is in like deep shit right now. So it's like
Mhm.
really depends on who's coming into this merge, who's come or in the merge, and where the votes are going, the dynamics are. But all three people agreeing on how to use the medallion. So far, the track record has not been good, but we'll see.
right.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching this with my casual friends, and they didn't quite get it. They like I don't know why, but this was like complicated for them. They also
It's
were
a
like,
complicated game.
yeah, and then I was like trying to explain to them that this is like kind of new, and they were like, "But I've seen this before. Like I know this." And I was like, "No, no, the here." And then I like explained like step by step, and they like looked at me like they like deer in the headlights. Like there's just so much in this game that is like so easy to just like if you're just kind of watching casually to like not really understand like what
Yeah.
you're seeing all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But once you can put yourself, that's why I'm like, oh, everyone should just play an org because like
Mhm.
when you can put yourself into that strategist mindset, like I feel like you never go back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like once you put yourself into that mindset, almost everything you do is like, is this a good move for me? Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like even being at work, I'm like, we should form an alliance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I take
Yeah.
Survivor with me everywhere. So
Yeah. When I started watching Survivor, I did that with so much of my life. Like even like roommates, like I would figure out what the pecking order of roommates were, and then make sure that I always wasn't on the bottom.
That's what I do with my coworkers. No, for
Yeah.
real. I'm like, we gotta vote Shelly out today, guys. I'm not feeling her shit. She's gotta go.
Yeah.
No, like sometimes if there's like I've been on some like workplaces where it definitely has a high school mentality. And I'm like, all right, I have to get in close with Debbie because like if like like she's the one that, makes the schedule or like, oh,
Exactly.
I don't want to be
Mhm.
on Devin's bad side because like he may talk to Barbara or and stuff and like because he's pretty tight with it or
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah, no, life is essentially a giant game of Survivor. Like it really is. It's just
Yeah.
like the social pecking order, like how you can maneuver yourself in a better place to get to the end. Like it really is.
Yeah.
yeah
Um, okay.
but yeah but like the events leading up to Keyshawn's elimination
Yeah.
when we get back to the beach at the Lavo tribe Rome just like straight up being like, hey, give me your stride in the dark, or I'm just gonna steal your vote. It's like straight up threat.
Yeah, it's not a threat, it's an ultimatum.
Right? You like I respect it. You guys know I'm all for coming into a room and be like, this is what you're doing. But like watching it, I'm like, oh, so that's what I look like when I talk to people.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a mirror to my face too of when I was like just super blunt about like I'm you're going home right now. I was like, oh
Yeah.
boy.
I
Oh shit.
related more to Andy being called the George Costanza of you know, just falling over in the boat, etc.
Yeah, losing your
Yeah, I
shot in the
like my
dark.
fa I relate to like Rodney doing dishes on his birthday. Like
Yeah.
that's my guy. Fucking dishes on my birthday.
uh but yeah, honestly, like when Rome started doing that to Soul, I was like, okay, there's just like he's just burning that bridge like so hard,
Yeah, just
and
you didn't even have to. He didn't just gently put a
yeah,
match to it. He doused it in gasoline and was like, "See ya!" Like,
No
yeah,
fucks
shit.
given.
yeah,
Yeah,
because like
No fucks
none.
given at all.
even if he agrees with you, I mean, like, and somehow he stays, like, there's now like.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like it's so interesting because like Genevieve now, like her closest people are Soul and Rome, but they do not want to work together. They actively dislike each other. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be so interesting to see if Genevieve can actually like repair, like do some couples counseling with them or something. And
Survivor counseling. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
Sit
That's
down
gonna
them
be
on the
tough.
beach.
Yeah, she's either gonna have to make a choice or she's gonna have to adapt and cut them both. It really depends, because
yeah,
really depends.
Yeah, yeah, because they have to go to tribal again. It's also like it could be because I'm biased. I don't want to see Teeny go. Um,
There, I love her. I don't
yeah.
want her to go either. Let's go
Yeah,
lesbians.
yeah. I want all four of these to make it. By the way, like I want them all into at least the jury. Like get
Yes,
exactly.
there.
yes.
Solomon, after this episode, I'm like, all right, he's up there. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
if I ever meet him at the one of these Bryson wins, I'm like, bro, I love especially with all the bullshit. Like I love Rome too,
Mhm.
but like Solomon, he is a trooper. And like
Yeah,
patience of a saint, even though he was like, no, I feel like you're doing this and stuff, like he endured so much bullshit.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
it takes a strong person to be able to just go out there, let alone, but then to be able to put up with all the bullshit that is this game with such a solemn face, you know what I
hmm
mean? Ah. But
Yeah.
he is so good at it, you know, but like you can
yeah,
tell in his eyes just sometimes like, bitch, are you really? Is this what we're doing? You're gonna try to feed me this line? Okay.
Mhm. Like he's not a stupid guy whatsoever. He might be, you know, a bulky guy, but he's not, that doesn't mean he's dumb.
Yeah,
hmm
not at all. No, you can for sure. And that's the thing is I want these people to get far because they're all such good players in their own way that I want them to get far enough to where we can see, are they going to fight it out? Will they align? How will Braun go against the brain? Like how is it going to mash out? Like I am so excited to see this, and like honestly, I haven't been this excited about a Survivor season since like before that stupid hourglass shit. So,
yeah, yeah. I
I
think
think
this
that's fair.
was. I think this was maybe the best, one of the best episodes of the new era. Definitely the best pre-merge episodes of the new era.
Agreed.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. I will even say, like, Keyshawn this episode, this was his, like, I don't want to say his best episode because obviously he got voted out, but in the sense of like,
hmm
you know, when we're seeing the confessionals and we're starting to see that evil, chaotic side, I was like, all right, we're getting some good content from him because like the
hmm
content beforehand wasn't too like memorable. It was like more so of like, all right, he's in alliance with Teeny and they're like discussing stuff. This time
mhm.
it's like, I kind of like the chaos that I'm consuming. It was like, yeah, I'm just pouring I'm buying the gasoline for Rome, you know,
Yeah.
giving him an entire gas
Exactly.
truck for that whole thing, throwing Jen's name out just to be like, yeah, cause the chaos, everything like that.
Yeah.
He definitely got drunk with power, but like I really started liking him at
hmm
this episode because he was becoming a bit more entertaining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the one thing like with confessionals too, and that comes down to like editing because like we all they want to drive like a certain storyline for like the week and how
Yeah.
they play it out. Obviously, we all know how film kind of works, you know. But like if for a spectator, like I did want to see more of him from before that because it's like, oh shit, I really like you. Well,
Yeah.
wait, you're gone. No, you know. So like it's,
Yeah.
I wish they would almost like, I don't know if we could like somehow Jeff Probst, like if we could incorporate like a mass thing of like confessionals like after the season, because you do want to get to
Yeah.
know certain people better. You know what I mean? So
hmm
yeah.
Yeah,
Or if it would show us more Ponderosa stuff, like just like how they are as people. Like I
Yeah.
love the human aspect of this game.
yeah. I loved when we got to see the thoughts of Genevieve of thinking about the Kashan thing, and we see kind of
Oh
all the
yeah.
different like we're seeing like she hasn't seen those confessionals, but like then they still put them in there, all
Yeah.
the little like red crumb kind of stuff that like made her realize like, wait a second, this
Yeah,
isn't
no,
in my
that
best
was good.
interest.
Yeah, I do, and see, that's exactly what I like is how did your thoughts end up to here? You know what I mean? Like what
Yeah.
influenced you to think this? Because there is only so many things we get to see, and you're like, well, why did they
Yeah,
do that? So, and it's like
yeah,
one small conversation that we don't get to see can impact the whole game or like the episode at least, and I want to know that stuff. Because like even
mhm,
though I get they want to like hide it for like surprise reasons on the episode, but as strategists, as Survivor fans, like I want to know how it got to this point. So.
mhm,
Yeah. We want to see. We're like the math teacher. We want to see the work,
yep.
or you're
Fuck,
not going to
I
get full
hate
credit.
math, and that's the worst. Exactly. I want to see the work. That is the
Yeah.
smartest thing I think I've ever heard you say, and that upsets me.
That might have been the smartest thing I've ever said. Um.
When we get to tribal council here, I I was thinking that it was going to be Kashan almost off of that what I was just saying, that editing thing of like
Yeah.
Genevieve thinking of it. It definitely made me go to it. But like
Yeah.
there was still a little uncertainty of like, is it Soul? Did like it just not work? We saw Rome trying a little bit to mend it before tribal council, which made me go, they
Right
at least,
before, though.
yeah, like right before. So it made me go like, okay, they maybe talked to like like they're trying to work with him, even though Rome clearly does not want to.
Yeah, it's just I think it's probably just one of, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's one of those things where like you have to work together against the greater good. You know what I mean? Even
Yeah,
though you don't want to, in a sense, you need each other just to get a vote or
Yeah.
two longer, and then you'll take them out when you can, if you can. But right now we can't because it's either me or you. So yeah,
yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
Watch it turn into the biggest bromance in Survivor history, where they
I
used to be bad blood, now they're mad love.
Roman
um,
Saul in the final
could
three
you
together.
imagine? Oh man, I would put money on that. I don't think that would ever happen, but I would also put money on it
No,
that I would love to see it happen just for, commentary's sake.
Mhm.
I'm on the same wavelength. Yeah.
Yeah,
No. And then like, and even during their like, I know obviously they didn't want to. The thing is, they still didn't have to. Rome still didn't have to burn his steal a vote because like if Solomon is on the plan, I guess like in the sense of like it reassures Solomon, it's
yeah,
like yes, we are voting him out. But at the same time, if Teeny didn't have a vote, Keyshawn has no idea that he's going home. If you have two votes, and let's say I mean, it's like one of the things where it's like I get like in the sense of making things safe, but like if you assure Solomon, hey, I'm not going to vote you out, I guess it's like more so like it's that bit of trust. So like
mhm,
yeah, but at the same time, it's
Exactly
like
what it is.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
because if
almost
you
like
tell someone like, well, because they know that you have it. So like, and if you say you're gonna do, and it all comes down to like just solidifying. Again, it comes down to we need to stay together. We just have to make it through the night. We just need to make sure we have the power. So I can see doing it like as like a good faith of trust. Hey, I told you I was gonna do this, so that's what I
mhm,
did.
yeah,
Because like if he wouldn't have, then it's like, well, what are you going to use it against me next time? So like I
yeah,
do think it was like a trust thing because whenever you have something in this game, if people know, that's always on the forefront of their mind. Like, should we get rid of them? How can we make them flush it? How do I make them use it in my benefit? So I think it was a
yeah,
little bit of all of that.
yeah. I bet Genevieve also kind of wanted him to use it. I feel like if moving forward, if she has to cut someone, like there's a chance she needs to cut Rome at some point. But if he has that steel vote, it makes it just significantly harder to go ahead and
Yep.
do that. So I think for
yeah,
her, like she wants her crazy ally to not have a lot of power. Like if the crazy ally
Exactly.
has the power, then
Yeah.
like who knows what's gonna happen? Like she could become collateral damage.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's where you have to be very careful. Yep, teaming up with the crazies is that if you get pegged as their number one, you might just end up collateral damage. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I think it's another thing too, where especially with the steal a vote, and we don't know if they go to tribal council again. The smaller the numbers, the more power that steal a vote has. Because like with this circumstance, like yeah, it could have potentially ended up tying the vote, but like next time, it's still kind of like numbers and stuff, but like the more and more the smaller the pool, the less you have to convince people because it's like, all right, well, Rome has two votes. If it
Yeah.
goes any other way, then like, yeah.
Yeah, it essentially comes down, do you want it to be him or do you want it to be you? Because that's what it boils down to. You just walk right
Yeah,
up to him on the beach and say, hey, you're fucked. So,
yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, okay. Anything else on this episode, or do we want to get to confessionals?
I'm good.
I think,
Yeah, I had fun
yeah,
being here with you guys. Thanks for having me. Let's get into it.
Yeah,
of
yeah, perfect,
course.
perfect. So Kashan goes out here. He did hit double digits in confessionals. He ends up with 10 confessionals as he gets voted out here. He actually interestingly went 1, 2, 3, 4 in his confessionals. So each
Interesting.
episode he gained one confessional count.
Okay.
So interesting there. Sam still has the most confessionals with 29 confessionals.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's because in episode 2 he had 16 confessionals.
That's
Oh,
insane.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, crazy number. Then we got Rome in second here with 28 confessionals, so just one behind Sam. Um,
Mhm.
then we got Gabe with 22. Then we got Andy with 19. Then we got Sue with 18.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
feel like with Sue and her idol, we'll be getting more from her for sure.
oh, absolutely. I think
Definitely.
she's definitely going to be skyrocketing up a bit. Next up, we got a tie with 13 confessionals between Annika and Rachel. And then we got a tie between Tiana and Soul with 11.
I'm surprised we
Eh,
haven't seen more confessionals from Soul. Like
Mhm.
he's all everyone's
yeah.
always talking about him. So
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like this episode, like they decided to introduce characters. Before, it's like they had a few main
yeah,
characters and then supporting
you're
characters. I
right.
Yeah.
felt like this episode was like, okay, now let's add a few more characters into who we're actually going to be caring about.
We'll flesh out these two-dimensional characters a little bit. And it was like
Yeah.
kind of the same thing with Genevieve, where
Mhm.
it was either episode 2 or 3, but like unless you're like someone that drafted her, you wouldn't be mistaken if you completely missed forgot she was on the tribe, which was
Yeah.
unfortunate, but I was like, yeah, so like she finally got the screen time,
Yeah,
which is
she, she
good.
she is next on confessionals with 9 confessionals, so she's no longer at the bottom of the confessional count. Um, then at the next person here, we got Kyle at 8. He was the only person to not have a confessional this episode to get that goose egg. Um,
Makes sense.
and then the new person on the bottom is Caroline with 7 confessionals.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
makes sense. Um, yeah, Blue Tribe didn't really get too much content besides A, the medallion stuff, and B, the whole Sue thing with like finding the idol.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. I forgot to mention Teeny. Teeny has 20 confessionals, so she's right in between Andy and Gabe. In that.
Joe, how the
So,
fuck did you miss
well, listen, there's no like order. I'm not looking at this as like a pure order. I have to like figure out where the numbers are, and if I miss something,
what
then
website are you using?
it's the just the confessional account. There's no it's like a picture.
Okay. No, because like each time I've seen it, it's always had like a little graph where it'd be like, all right, whoever's on top and all that.
Yeah, no,
But
this goes by tribe divisions. So it just shows all the tribes together.
okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, I think when we hit the merge, that's when you start seeing that kind of stuff. But in the pre-merge, it's just like it's chaos. That's why sometimes I'm having to scan because I'm like trying to figure out where everything is.
Just a little behind the scenes actions. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing that, Joe.
yeah, yeah, exactly. This is the content that everyone comes to love.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, well, I think MVP of this episode super obvious.
Genevieve,
Yeah,
hands
Genevieve.
down.
without a
Yeah.
doubt. I also think LVP to me is obvious. I just hate that I might say it, which I'm going to say. I think it's Rome.
I I think maybe I I see where you're coming from. I don't know if I fully because like he could have gone home, he didn't, and then, I think like with everything, he ended up in a much better position than he would have otherwise. Um,
Yeah,
I
I
might have to say Teeny because, they lost their number one ally, lost their vote, and they're kind of like dead in the water if
Yeah.
the
If anyone's
Lavo
gonna
tribe
talk
has to
to us
go again.
about being on the bottom, it's Neo. So
yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would
Whatever.
just say like at least Teeny has that advantage amulets. Like if they do manage to not go tribal next time, like I think she'll be fine. But whereas Rome, if they don't go to tribal, he's got Soul who is just like waiting for the
yep.
bus to just like
With the
throw Rome under.
with
Yeah,
the bus from Mean Girls, like just
yeah.
waiting for Katie Heron to push Regina George out in front. Exactly.
Yeah. So for me, like I just think that's like actually Rome probably does want Soul to go home there. Like but he managed to get convinced by Genevieve to go with what's best for Genevieve's game. So
Yeah. Yeah, and
um
that takes a lot of maneuvering to do. But that's also
yeah,
good for her game too, because that just means like if she can tell that those two are never going to work together, like
yeah,
it can work in certain situations, you know what I mean? That they're going to be too distracted with each other that she can just tell everybody else what to do. So, I'm here for her.
yeah.
Same, same.
Yeah. She entered the chat in this episode. Like that's
She didn't just
She
enter
did.
it. She came in that fucking thing like the Kool-Aid man.
yeah.
No, yeah. Yeah, very good episode for her. And I definitely feel like I'm not even dismissing that Rome could be LVP. I definitely think
Mhm.
going forward, if the Saul thing doesn't get resolved, that could be bad. I feel like Saul is in a much better position. I feel like it really depends on where Genevieve wants to go with this game.
Um
And I don't know, because I feel like I agree with Joe. I don't want to see this tribe go again. I agree with you, Sarah. Like, this is a cool like tribe, and like, not saying that I just want other tribes to go and like, screw them because there's no one I like on there. But I'm like, I feel like storytelling wise, it'll be interesting to see these people make it to the merge.
Yeah, I want to see Rome and Andy interact. Like that's my dream right now. Is I want to
Oh
see
my
those
God.
two.
We're gonna need the whole 90 minutes for that. The whole
It'll be a
thing.
two-parter episode.
Yeah.
Seriously. Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Uh, okay. Well, I think we're wrapping up here on the episode. Any final thoughts of what we saw last night?
Is
That
that
was a
blood in
lot of fun. What was that?
I said, is that blood in your hair?
No, I'm just happy to see you.
Oh, how nice. Well, I did enjoy
Oh,
the episode. I thought it was good as
yeah.
far as, like you said, pre-merge episodes. They're very, it's always we watch the episodes to get us to the merge. We want to see what happens at merge, who makes it,
Yeah.
but to get a little bit of life in an episode where you really feel like, hey, I like these people. Hey, Sue's playing, her idol, the red paint, just everything about this episode is what I love about
Mhm.
Survivor. And to get it in a pre-merge episode, it's like, okay, well now I'm excited for next week, So
Yeah.
I'm really liking where this season has been and has been going. So
Yeah, I'm not liking where the people who are going home because my draft is complete shit right now. But
I mean, if you were just better at Survivor, Joe, I feel like
yeah,
this wouldn't be a problem.
Exactly. Like, what
exactly.
the fuck, Joe?
Yeah. Well, my problem was the second when we started doing the draft, I drafted first, and Ryan kept agreeing with me, and I was like, that's not good. That's bad. I'm taking all your bullets right now. Yeah.
No, that's the Neo. That's my mutation. I dodged the bullets, and Joe, you were standing right behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think in the Tribe of Nerds draft, I believe Jake went first, and then it was Kevin and then me, and they kept taking all the people I wanted. And now all my draft team is still in the game, and Jake has
Yeah.
only he's down to like two. And like so
Yeah.
it worked better for us, Neo, this way.
It did. It did. I mean, like some of my picks, I'll let you know. Let me get the sheet. Hold on.
Yeah. My best person is my last pick, which is Gabe. Like that's the only person who I have that has any remote chance of
I
doing.
picked Gabe too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the people, so I was deciding between like six people that I can see winning this game. Two of which are no longer here, which is Aisha and TK, but those were people that Joe had taken up. The other people, obviously Genevieve, Sue is up there, and Teeny is also up there.
I picked her too.
Um,
She's so good. I just knew she would have that social thing. You just know.
well, apparently, they were in the org community beforehand, and so yeah, so
Yeah.
she's going
Yeah.
in very experienced right off the bat.
Yeah. Okay. So she knows exactly what she's doing then. Oh, good. What games? I'm very curious. How
I,
fun. What a mashup.
yeah, I know that they're LRGs. I don't know exactly which ones, but
Ooh,
I remember before the season started, like she would appear in my like suggested friends thing.
no
So yeah,
way.
I think I'm actually friends with her on Facebook because of that.
Yeah.
So
Instead of recommending me to like your shitty podcast, recommend her as a friend to me.
yeah,
I'm just kidding. I love you guys.
yeah,
It's so good. No, that's crazy. Oh, that's so neat. I would love to talk to her one time about, yeah, just the difference between like, well, we have the orgs and then you have the LRGs, and then to actually
mhm,
go out and get to play real Survivor. Like, what a
yeah,
neat interview that would be. Would love to talk to her. Shout out,
yeah,
Teeny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. I just have for my draft, I have Rome, Annika, Sierra, Soul, and Gabe.
You really fucked up. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
that's not a great list of people to have at this point.
I I'd say yeah, you would definitely be worried about Rome because I can see his story go any number of ways. Annika is on the bottom. Sierra, I think, is in good position. I don't know if she's been getting a winner's edit.
Yeah,
Saul, I like Saul. He may make a deep run, but we'll see.
yeah.
yeah.
He's
Tomfoolery
getting
can
he
happen.
might have a deep run, but I don't see winner equity from him yet. I feel like
Yeah.
he's gonna be fun while he's out there.
And then Gabe, I think, has potential.
Mhm.
I think there were some episodes where he had a lot better. I don't know if I've gotten winner vibes from him yet,
Yeah,
but
I get that he's going to be this big threat come like mid merge that gets taken out.
Yeah, I feel like Fallen Angel fifth vibes from him. Like you can
Mhm,
take him so far, but like you should cut him at a certain point, you know? Because that's
yeah,
also the thing you have to think about in these games is who can you beat physically? Like you can
yeah,
vote all you want, but if these people are able to win immunities every time, that's not good for you. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you got to tank out the people that can plank for 9 minutes.
yeah.
Listen, there are other games on there. Like I couldn't roll the quarter. The first org I played, I sucked at every fucking challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, that card challenge where you're trying to knock the cups over, that was painful.
Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to hear about this. We'll do, yeah.
It was fans
I
versus
was
favorites
cringing.
3-1. It thankfully the two other contestants that were on the other tribe were worse at me at that challenge, so I was able
Yeah.
to escape elimination.
Yeah, but
I still
because
have
they
an
were so
idol.
bad, it made it go on for so long. So it was just this
Yeah.
long it just kept happening.
Hey, at least you guys don't hold the record for the longest challenge completion time in Vanquish history. So
That was the
No.
greatest episode of Vanquish. I think every challenge should be that long.
I was just talking, I was like, gosh, these spectators are just going to get to know us so well because we've been on here for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to
Or
change
or
it where
screen
the
time.
the other tribe had to do it in the breakout room because they couldn't also bring them in
Oh my
afterwards.
God. You know, and then they were
Fair.
messing with us
It's
like, oh no, maybe they already went. You know what I mean? And it's like, don't do that to us.
Yeah.
And crazy to find out that we took an hour and a half and they took like only 20 minutes less than us. So like it's not that bad.
Yeah.
no, I'd say it was a tough challenge, to say the least. Like doing that, I'm like, how the fuck would I? Yeah. I don't know. I think it also depends on jury if they respect like challenge wins and stuff like that. Also, sometimes having a good challenge beast on your side isn't a bad thing because it's like your enemies don't get that immunity, then you can
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, no, Survivor definitely all comes down to the jury because, like, I mean, like we saw it just in Vanquish, you had two very, very different people in the final two. You had Wesley, who is one of those
Mhm.
people who played out in the front, balls to the wall, no fucks given, gotta win my way there. And then you have Jen, who played a superb, exquisite social game and was
Yeah,
able to get herself to the end flawlessly. And it really just comes down to what the jury wants. And that's the beauty of this game is the outcome can be different every time depending on who's sitting in that jury. So
yeah,
it's so neat.
yeah. I gotta say, I was rooting for Mama Jen. I was definitely that was my personal. I mean,
I
I
was an
played it.
alternate, so I did
Yeah,
not want a male contestant to win out of spite. However, I even told Wes this. If someone won, I was glad that it was him because he just he had that like X factor to win the game and like just seeing because I was in VIP, I was just like seeing the pieces come together and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be part of the glass menagerie. One of the glass holes is what he calls his fans. I'm like, I see you, I like what you're doing,
yeah,
yeah. But I
yeah,
really was rooting for you and Amy. So like, yeah,
Yeah. Well, if I
yeah,
would have been in the final, I would have won, and they all know that. But
yeah.
I did, but yeah, I did vote for
Absolutely.
Jen. Because it just, and that's, it was so hard for me to pick because I am one of those people that I take into consideration all aspects of this game, the outwit play, the outlast, the social strategic. So for me to have to sit and pick between Wesley, who played in the amazing outright game, and then Jen, who played an amazing social game, it was really hard. But like
yeah,
my heart is always with Jen. Love her.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
it is fair.
Okay. Well, I have to get going here pretty soon, so I think we're gonna have to wrap it up here. So
Oh,
so thank you everyone for watching another episode here, and we will see you all in the next one.
All right, peace.
bye. Fuck you, Kevin.